Hi, in this video we will talk about how to create events, services, and how to register members of your church in Holyrics. So to begin with, if you remember the playlist section of the Holyrics interface that I mentioned in the very first video, there is only this temporary playlist that we can use to put songs into, but there's also a way to create playlists for every service of our church or even specific events. And the way to do that is to create a new and then worship for services, events or members. I'm gonna click worship, but they all go to the same window. You can see here on the top, there's groups, which I'll talk in a bit, worship, events, members, and roles. So let's start with worship, which is actually services. So my church, let's pretend that my church, it has, let's say, 2 services every Sunday. So let's say at 10 a.m. it has the first Sunday service, add that, and then at, let's say, 12 there's the second Sunday service, and I can keep going, and if I have anything on like Wednesdays, Thursdays, Tuesday, or any other day of the week, I can select it here. I can select the recurrence of that event. But just to illustrate another point, I'm going to click OK for these 2 Sunday services. And if you hover to the playlist now, you will see that all the Sunday services of December, which is the month that I am recording this. You can also come here and select another month if you want to. I'm recording this at December 2019, but if I go into January 2020, now the dates here, Sunday the 5th, are in January. So let's go back to December. And now you'll be able to see all the services of that month. And clicking on that, you can specify which songs that you will play that day, for example, at your playlist, or just press Alt Enter and then keep adding them until you have all the songs that's going to be played that service, and then you can keep doing that for other services, so you have a quick and easy way to plan your services and know which song is going to be played that day, instead of looking into a big list of songs that you might have thousands of songs in here. Now you only have the 3 that you're going to play. Also, if you click on a song here, for example, A Beautiful Exchange, you should be able to see that this song, in this history part, you should be able to see all the services that this song is going to be played, as well as the services that it will be played on. Right now it's showing 0 because I put the song into a Sunday that has already passed. If I go to a 15th, for example, which is in the future from when I'm recording this, and add this again, you will see here that in the history part, there is now this schedule telling you that this song is scheduled to be played on the 15th of December at 10 a.m., which is in 10 days. Now, what's the difference between a schedule and a history? So imagine that today I'm at my service and we just played this song. I have this option here, set to music play, and you will see that it will be on the history that it was played today and the time that I'm recording this. So as you progress using Holyrics in your church, you will be able to see a full history and a full schedule of when this song is going to be was played. Also, marking this song as played enables you to come to the report section and select on this played musics. We'll be able to see how many times each song in Holyrics was played, so we'll be able to see which songs you played the most in your church. You can also specify which days of the week this song was played, from what period to what period, and if you want, you can save that as an Excel file as well. So it's a very nice way to manage the songs that your church plays. In addition to services, we can also create events. The difference between an event and a service is that an event is a specific date, like for example, a Christmas service. Let's say I want to create a Christmas service which only occurs on the 25th of December specifically. So I can come here, and in this section here, you can also see my services that I created in this service tab. If you had service on Tuesdays or any other day, they would also appear here just as these ones. But let's say I want to create a Christmas service. I click this add button. I input the name of the service or the event. Let's call this event, just because we are on the event tab. We select a date and a time. Let's say this is at 13, this is military time. And we can input a description if we want, and once we click save, it will stay here like a calendar. And similar to the services, if we go here now to the playlist, we will be able to see the Christmas event as a created playlist in which we can now put the songs that are going to be played on that Christmas event. So another nice feature of Holyrics is that apart from the services and the events, we can also register members of our church, not only from the media team, but from the church in general. For example, if I want to add a member, I click on this plus button here, and then you see it creates the member. I'll now edit the member. I'll put myself in here. In here I put the skills that this person have. For example, let's pretend I can play the guitar and also sing. And down here we see that we can also categorize them into these predefined categories. In this case, I would say I would be in the voice and in the instrument category. And I can keep doing this for all the members in the church. I'll do that. I'll create a couple more members here because it will be better to illustrate some future features. And then I'll come back when I have all of them. Alright, so I went ahead and created like a few other members here for my church. For example, Julia, she sings. Eric, he plays bass. John, he plays drums. Janice is responsible for the multimedia team, the lyrics projection, and Edward would be taking photos at the services. So now if I go back to the events, for example, there are other ways to do this, which I will demonstrate now. But if you come here and click on this icon, you will see that in the schedule part, we will be able to see all the members in our church. And we will also be able to set, for example, which ones that will going to be working at that service at the church. We can also set a responsible for that church, for that service, someone that will manage that church, that service in specific. For example, let's say me. That automatically means that I'll be present. I can also input some notes here if I want. Another way to do that is to come to the playlist, select that event or any service that you want. And here in the schedule tab, you will be able to see this exact same thing. For example, if I go to this Sunday service and I want to put some other people, they are going to be working on that service, I can come here and input them. And as I keep doing that for all the services in the month, for example, I can come to this schedule tab and click on the view in the member mode. And you will be able to see all the services of that month. You can see the month here on the top, who is going to be working on each day. And as I have more members and more services, this will be a nice schedule to keep track of who's going to be responsible for what and working on each day. To complement the creation of this schedule, we can also create roles. Because if you go into the member, we see that, for example, me, I play the guitar and I sing. So if I tick myself in one service, how do I know if I'm going to be responsible for singing or playing the guitar at a service? For that reason, we can create roles in Holyrics as well. So the process is the same. So for example, let's say main singer. And I can also categorize these roles into different categories. For example, voice. Let's also create some guitar and then instruments, and then keep doing this for all the roles in our church. Now if I go to the schedule and view it in the role mode, I'll be able to see the different roles that I created and the responsible, which is a default kind of role. And in here, for example, in this service, I can simply click here and select who is going to be the main singer on that service. And of course, because only me and Julia were in the voice group, Holyrics picks up that only these two can be the main singer, because both the role, you see here, and those two people were categorized in the voice group. Similar, if I come to the guitar, now other people appears, all the people who has some kind of instrument abilities, which I created when I made the members. And then I can keep doing this, and again, as we have several roles and several services, this will be a good way to keep track of who is responsible for what on each service. On top here, you can also save this as an Excel file and maybe send to your group, and they'd be able to keep track who is responsible, who is working on which service. By assigning members to different services and their roles, you can also come into the report and see the report of your schedule, which will show you how many times each member of your church were scheduled and were responsible for each service. On the right here, you'll also be able to see how many times each song is scheduled to be played in this period of time right here. So in between the 5th of October of 2019 and the 5th of February of 2020, this song, A Beautiful Exchange, is scheduled to be played 2 times. And you can even see what days they are when you put your mouse over them. So it's a nice feature to keep count of how many times and how often you play individual songs. So to end this video, just because we mentioned about everything in this tab except for groups, I'm going to illustrate what this groups tab is by creating one, calling this Hillsong groups. And on the right here, you'll be able to see all the music that you have on Holyrics. Maybe you want to have your music separated into groups. For this example, I will put all the songs from Hillsong in this group, so I can select them, pressing Control. And then now all these songs will be in the Hillsong group. I'll create another group, Casting Crowns. And I will put the only song of Casting Crowns that I have here on my list of songs. And you can see that I can even put Hillsongs as well in here if I want. So I can have the same song in different groups if I want. And to illustrate how that benefits us, if you come to this full list of songs here, it might be closed like this when you open Holyrics, but if you click on this drop down arrow, you will be able to select the group, and in here you have the groups that you created. So now it will only show you the songs inside the groups that you created. If you want all the songs, then you can simply leave it blank. And this also works for the search. If you try to search Casting Crowns song here, for example, Who Am I, on the Hillsong, Who Am I, you'll see that it won't pick it up because it's trying to find it only in this Hillsong group. If I go back to the full list of songs, then it picks it up. So that's it for this video. I hope you liked this nice feature of Holyrics to keep track and schedule your entire church services. And I hope to see you in the next video.